Hello and a very warm welcome to episode 79 of the Sussex by the Sea podcast. A podcast that now covers local football in this great town of ours, as well as keeping up with all the frills and spills, highs and lows of my team, Hastings United. On the show this week, it's week 9 of our wrap-up of all that's happened for our local sides in the Southern Combination, Mid-Sussex and East Sussex leagues. SBTS Hastings Report with co-host and ESFL mainstay Leon Pettit. We've got another week of Timothy Booth-Jones's Tim's Takes, where he gives his exclusive opinions, and it's another good result for the women's team. But he also asks us, has there ever been a worse penalty, and has it landed yet, than he saw at the Met Police game? Answers on a postcard. And then we've got the SBTS Fan Roundtable. On another win, another clean sheet. Enjoy grassroots football fans. And over to week 9 of the Hastings Report. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the week 9 of the Hastings Report with myself, and unfortunately it is just myself, as Leon, that ESFL veteran that he is still recovering in that hyperbaric chamber, trying to get himself right and back on that pitch for Icklesham. Or was it just hiding from that Spicer? We'll have to find out next week. He has, through carrier pigeon, managed to get a few comments here and there out of the Balek or Bolek chamber, so you will hear his dulcet tones during the report. So we kick things off in the SCFL, and here's straight over to Leon.
So last Wednesday in the Southern Combination League, Bexhill United welcomed Peacehaven to the Polegrove, where a crowd of 170 witnessed what sounded like quite a feisty affair if you go by what the Peacehaven Twitter said, and it was the visitors who took the lead after 22 minutes thanks to Robin Dean, and the score remained the same until half-time. And then Bexhill's late comeback started on the 79th minute thanks to Olu Hull, and it was then brother James who put the Pirates ahead on the 85th minute. Evan Archibald sealed the night off with a goal in the 8th minute of injury time to earn Bexhill 3 points. And then we move on to Little Common, who faced a tough afternoon away to Crawley Down. And despite the league positions, Common and no mugs as previous results have proved, and they took the lead after 9 minutes thanks to Sammy Bunn. However, Crawley Down were going to show their dominance, and a quick hat-trick from Reece White dented Common's hopes of an upset. Despite conceding 3, the Little Common man of the match was Finn Holter in goal, but the result sees Crawley Down go top of the league. And then we move on to Saturday, where Bexhill welcomed Lingfield to the Polegrove, where another decent crowd of 187 saw Bexhill win 3-2, which puts them into 8th place. The goals from Lingfield come from Cameron Dobell and Tyrone Magala Bryan, with Bexhill's goals coming from Sam Scott, James Stone and Jack Shonk. This Saturday sees Bexhill United travel to Loxwood in the Southern Combination. Loxwood are another team at the wrong end of the table, but have seen a right mixed bag of results. With Bexhill's attacking options and Loxwood's goal action at either end of the pitch, I think the spectators might be in for an entertaining game. For the next game, Little Common welcome Alfold to the recreation ground. Alfold have struggled so far in the league, with only 1 win and 1 draw to their name, so Common must be confident of picking up 3 points here.
And now it's over to the Mid-Sussex League.
This Saturday in the Mid-Sussex League saw Hollington front Balcombe 5-0, with Dan Tewksbury scoring 2, Bradley Pritchard, Charlie Cornford and Josh Elliott also joining in on the action. Hollington continue to dominate in this league and are now 8 points ahead of second place Linfield. This Saturday will see them make the short trip to Oatlands Park to face Sedlescombe, and I doubt many will be betting against the Lions.
On the Lions there, Leon, Sam and Trish Labatt, they love watching their local football, which is great to hear. Sam, who was recently in the local paper, shaking hands with Michael Caine, was very surprised to not see Sam in his Elvis gear. They were along at the game, said it was a feisty affair, that Hollington could have scored a bagful more goals, which I don't doubt they're a top side. And they said it was nice catching up with Lee Carey and Danny Ellis, obviously ex-Hastings. Thanks for writing in, Sam and Trish. How did Sedlescombe get on, Leon?
They travelled to Linfield in what we thought would be a tough encounter for the team. By all accounts, it was a close encounter, and Sedlescombe feel they deserved something out of the game, and it was allegedly a soft penalty decision that enabled the home team to take the lead. They then managed to grab a late winner to send Sedlescombe home with 0 points for their efforts. The Linfield goals both came from Rory Farrell, with Ryan Edwards grabbing Sedlescombe's consolation.
We already know Hollington are coming to Oaklands Park. Sedlescombe have got to pray for a complacent Hollington. Can't see that myself.
Battle Town carry on their fine form, and it's 3 wins in a row now for a side that are most definitely fitted into life in the Mid-Sussex Prem after a shaky start. They beat Holland Sports 5-1 thanks to goals from Glenn Carrick, Tristan Mayhew, Tyler Mole, Paul Weatherby and Adam Staplehurst, with the Holland Sports consolation coming from John Hill. Battle will be hoping to keep their fine run going away to Balcombe this coming Saturday. Westfield felt frustrated with their 3-3 draw away to Reigate Priory, However, Reigate are a side who have made teams like Cuckfield and Linfield work hard for their 3 points, so maybe visiting Reigate and getting a draw isn't such a bad result for Westfield. The Reigate goals come from Joseph Elbish-Laurie, David McLaughlin and Yavi Sereno, with Westfield goals coming from George Landay, Josh Pickering and Ronnie Austin. Despite feeling frustrated by the result, Westfield are still only 3 points off Linfield, who are in second place, and they have a game in hand. They'll be hoping to grab another 3 points at home to Ashurst Wood this coming Saturday, who only have 1 win in the league so far.
And now we move on to the ESFL. First of all, let's crack into those MACRON Store Challenge Cup first round results. Sidley took on Westfield Reserves, and Westfield Reserves came out 2-1 winners. They were 2-0 up at half-time through goals from Baxter Orchard and Cameron Woodley. They also missed a penalty. Sidley pulled one back through a penalty in the second half from Logan Copley. Sandleston Rangers Reserves beat St Leonard Social 2-1 despite Zach Boltwood seeing red. A brace from Callum Ludlow for Sandleston with St Leonard Social's goal from Che Davis. And the final game of the round, Westfield Fourths, got thumped by Who Firsts. Goals for Who from Jamie Gravitt, Callum Holt-Burgess and a brace from Grant Wright, with the goal for Westfield from Ruben Webb. And let's crack into the ESFL Prem. Hawkhurst United were playing BEXHILL AACs. It was 5-2 to Hawkhurst. 4 goals from Leon Fisher and Mark Mitchell, with the 2 goals for BEXHILL from Andrew Matthews and Rosh Wells. Rye Town continued their fine start to the season with a 1-0 win at Crowhurst. Crowhurst down to 10 men early. Jan Bailey seeing red. Jules Phillips getting the goal for Rye. And now we move into Division 1. Wadhurst United thumped winless Little Common Reserves 6-1. Hat-trick from Charlie Bateman, a goal for Jack Pearman, Tony Tapp and Dean Tinkham for Wadhurst, with a consolation effort from Attilio Field. A thumping 8-0 win for Parson Move at struggling South Coast Athletico. 2 goals from Curtis Coombs, another 2 from Fraser Discardi, Philip Hatch, Brandon Kovacs, Joshua Page and Jordan Uber getting the others. Moving into Division 2, 2 sides that have started off reasonably well this season. Pesh Hill and Victoria Baptists finished 2-2, cancelled each other out by the looks of things. Unfortunately, Pesh haven't released the goals. Victoria Baptist goal scorers were Joe Bellett and Samuel Astle. Top of the table, Ninfield were at home to Parsamove seconds, 5-3 to Ninfield. Hat-trick from Joseph Trigwell. The other goals were from Jason Taylor and a certain Chris Agato bags 1 more. The goals for Parsamove, Frankie Manning with a brace and Zachary Bryant with the other goal. As suspected, Hollington United Reserves were far too strong for Icklesham, running out 4-1 winners. The goals for Hollington from a brace from Sonny Dolloway, goals from Jack Humbles and Joshua Gray. The consolation effort was from Phil Budrock for Icklesham. A first win of the season for Bexhill Rovers against Norlium 75s. I haven't posted up the goal scorers on the FA site, but I just checked their Instagram, and it was a hat-trick from Ian Stewart Pownell. Not sure the other goal scorer for Norlium though. I've got the goal scorers of John James, Adam Page and Luke Townsend. And now over to Division 3. Ticehurst first spanked winless Hastings Comets 6-1. A brace from George Brown, another brace from Harvey Poland, and another brace from Darren Nichol. The goal for Hastings Comet come from Jack Harris. Rye Town Reserves won 6-3 against Orrington. Goals from Sammy Folks, Frank Cousins, Jordan Osborne, Ryan Dowswell, Liam Sayer and Craig Pearce won it for Rye. No goals on the FA site for Orrington at time of recording. Sovereign Saints travelled to Parkfield, and despite Parkfield being a man down, couldn't beat them. It was 1-1. Parkfield's goal was from Marley Jesson. Patrick Seymour scored for Sovereign Saints. Craig Fullerton saw red for Parkfield. Top of the table, Hurstman took on Mountfield United. Hurstman comfortable 3-1 winners. Goals from Jake Brown, Ryan Arnott and Rory Collins won it for Hurstman Mountfield's goal isn't up on the FA site at time of recording. Second in the league, Crowhurst travelled to Catsfield, thumped them really. 5-1. Goals from Dale Matthews, Joe McCarthy, Anton Neal, Ben Thorpe and Jordan Miller. Can't give you a consolation goal as it's not up there on the FA site at time of recording. And finally for Div 3, Bexhill AAC Reserves beat Westfield Thirds 3-1. Bexhill scorers Luke Dangerfield, Jermaine Tate, Dominic Sinden, with the goal for Westfield from Alex Southall. Now we move into Division 4. Wellcroft Park Rangers reserves won 3-1 at home to Battletown Thirds. A comfortable game really, already 2-0 up at half time. Goals in the first half from George Jones and Aaron White. The goal scorer in the second half was from Mark Hedges, with a last minute goal from Cole McLeod for Battle. A thumping victory for Robertsbridge United reserves against Tackleway reserves. That man Ben Tinge scores again, he's got a hat-trick. Jordan Isaac, Jacob Boast and Matthew Barnett, with a couple of late consolation efforts for Junior Tackleway from Samuel Robinson Guthrie and Ryan Grayston. And finally for Div 4, Hastings Athletic took on Hawkhurst United reserves, ended in a draw, Murphy Mitchell getting the goal for Hastings and Philip Anim the goal for Hawkhurst United. And now we move over to the ESFL Team of the Week. We've got Richie Gray of Sidley between the sticks with a back four of Callum Baldwin from Pesh, Charlie Bateman from Wadhurst United, Crowhurst Jordan Miller and Rhys Davey of Jesters as a back four. On the left we've got Ben Tinge from Robertsbridge, Parson Moves, Frankie Manning and Frank Cousin of Rye Town in the middle. And on the right we've got Kurt Excel from Bexhill Rovers. The front two, Ian Stewart Pownall of Bexhill Rovers and that's Sonny Dalloway of Hollington makes the team again as the last man up front. And that's it for this week. Remember, everyone can vote in that ESFL Team of the Week. Get your votes in. Also, anyone with any match reports, match videos, please send them over. Let's get people talking about our local sides. See you next week.
New York is the place of opportunities. If there is any place in this world that you want to come to be able to make it big, or to go after your dreams, it is New York City.
Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand.
This is Ella Wolf, Catfish, Billy kicking on like good with DJ A Travis. Holler at you, man. Barbara Streisand. So rough, baby, 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 baby. So rough, Barbara, 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 Barbara. So rough, baby, 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 baby. So rough, Barbara, 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 Barbara. So rough, baby, 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 baby. So rough, Barbara, 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 Barbara. So rough, baby, 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 baby. So rough, Barbara, 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 Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand.
Everybody loves duck sauce. Is this amazing? Is this amazing?
You gotta be out of your fucking mind.
Barbara Streisand.
And over to Timothy Booth-Jones and his Tim's Takes.
Our ladies team played on Sunday against the Watford Development 11, who play in the Northern League. So far, they've only seemed to have played 2 league matches and won 1 and lost 1. We had a useful team out with Blair Hamilton in goal and Lauren Sharp and Holly Carter are full-backs, Vix Phillips and Rosie Muggeridge as centre-halves, Claire Johnson, Charlotte Gurr and Jess Bellahue were in midfield, and we played Beth Crease, Sian Heather, and making her first appearance for a while was Nicole Baitup. I think it's her first appearance of the season. We scored early on, got a goal through Beth Crease, and through a defensive mishap, Watford equalised in the first half, but then Charlotte Gurr put us 2-1 up, and that was the score at the end. We brought on 3 substitutes in the second half. Or I should say now it's Dr. Rebecca Rao following the award of her doctorship, which is good. Izzy Burt came on and Brooke Nicholson-Rogan came on. So we've progressed into the next round of the League Cup. Next week, the ladies are, I think they're away at Newhaven, 2 o'clock kick-off at the Fort Ground where the men's team play in Newhaven. Newhaven, middle of the table side, so let's hope Hastings ladies can pick up 3 points. I did go on the trip with the men's team when we played in the FA Trophy away to Met Police. It's a nice ground in IMBER COURT, very even first half. Neither side really threatened too much. I thought we got a bit scrappy in the start of the second half, and we were creating the best chances for the Met Police forwards with our misplaced passing out of defence. But it's one of those games where I think if the Met Police had played for a couple of weeks, they wouldn't have scored. They never really looked to have a finish. And the penalties, I was very confident we were going to win the penalties. To start with, I was a bit worried in case no one was going to score, considering lack of goalmouth action. I could see it ending 0-0 after penalties, but our penalty takers were excellent. Their goalkeeper, sporting a very fluorescent pair of pink socks, was really doomed to lose the penalty shootout. Their 5th penalty taker tried a ridiculous penalty, one of the worst penalties I've ever seen, and Sam Adams smashed in the winner. That penalty must rank with the one taken by the Blackfield Langley player in our FA Cup match at the Pilot Field with a score 0-0, and he blazed it into Elphinston Road and miles over the stand. And also, of course, the infamous Lenny Pidgley's penalty up at Dorking must rank as one of the worst ones as well. But fortunately, we got through. It's always useful because of the prize money. I think we must have picked up £2,000 plus for that, which is good. And let's hope we get a good home draw in the next round. Come on.
over to the SBTS Fan Roundtable. And many thanks to George, he bangs the drum, Big Malk, and Wilsey for making it happen. It gives me great pleasure to do episode 79's Fan Roundtable. We've got the lovely, gorgeous Mr. Gasson with us. And, well, I'm not going to call him gorgeous, so I'm going to call him rugged John Wells. Gentlemen, fabulous to have you on. We're Big Malk's running late. There's some deals he's just closing. How have you both been?
Great. Yeah,
Okay.
all good, Chris. Thank you much. Yourself?
Never been better, George. And you, John?
Yeah, very good. Yes.
Oh, you buggers. Right, so it's been a great week, good result, great game. Hastings going through in the trophy. Couldn't be there, but luckily we've got some people that were there, and I know George was there. Tell us all about taking one over on the old bill.
So, first off, crowd was 75% Hastings. Hardly any of their fans. We took a decent number. Edging towards three figures, I think. I don't know what the
Were they decent?
was.
Were they decent people though, George?
Well, because it's non-league, they're all old,
Yeah.
and because they're police, they're all autistic. So it was just loads of autistic 70-year-olds. So it was kind of strange, really strange vibe.
What was the attendance there then, George? Because their average attendance is like 200, 100, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot there. Couple of hundred, mostly Hastings. I haven't seen the official figure.
It sounded like a really good roar when you saw the video of the winning penalty.
Yeah, there were plenty of us there. Plenty of us there. Yeah, and obviously no one will really know because it's cash only everywhere in this ground. Bit of dodgy old bill.
Okay,
Avoiding some tax. No alcohol inside the ground. So not great. Had a disaster before kickoff. Wanted to have one final. Well, could have spilled it everywhere. Wouldn't have mattered. Ordered a beer, last beer before kickoff. The guy popped open these bottles. I love this ghost ship. Went to drink it, 0.5%. Absolute disaster, Chris. Absolute disaster. So, cons by the police.
No. Well, NWA had it best, didn't they? When they're going to get up to things like that.
Yeah. Said should have asked for a tea. They like a kettle, didn't they, the police? Yeah, it was a strange atmosphere. It was all right club. They had a paper programme, Chris. You'll be pleased.
Did Colin sell you it? Did Colin sell you it? Colin is the man who does the programme for Met Police. He was on last week.
Oh, I was already out of money because I had to buy another beer after the ghost ship debacle, so I couldn't afford a programme, Chris.
That's fair enough. I mean, you've got to make these sacrifices for beer. This is absolutely understandable. That's
just lovely area though, near Hampton Court Palace. Really, really nice area of sort of outer London. Yeah, decent experience overall.
Yeah. So the game itself, George. Well, from what I could gather on the Twitter, because I know that the Mr. Twitter was delayed. Talking of delayed, a certain Malcolm's just entering the building right now. But yeah, so that was delayed. So there was a bit of late twittering, but on the Met Police side, their Twitter was pretty good and fairly honest for police, which I thought was unbelievable that the police would be honest. But
usually the police Twitter is full of false information,
exactly.
Especially towards football fans. So yeah, it was pretty accurate. I've given it a read, and they're pretty honest about how they were playing.
They were a little bit upset with the no beer, no fans chants from Hastings, but
it wasn't our worst one. But,
no, I'm sure it wasn't.
They picked up on that. Robbie's "I'd rather watch Holby than the Bill" was a favourite of mine. That was good, pretty cutting that. So, but yeah, the game, it was a 0-0, Chris. I think the score it does tell the story of the game. We're so solid away from home. They didn't even really look like scoring. In fact, we could have won it at the end with a chance for Nori. Tough chance, but it was a chance. But yeah, proper 0-0, another clean sheet. We've hardly conceded. What was the last time we conceded a goal? Calvalho. Yeah, just not conceding goals. 4 clean sheets in a row.
It was 5.
Well, we had the Calvalho one, and then Lewis was before that. But I don't think Craig Stone played in that one. So it's getting on. It's like 6-7 weeks since he's conceded a goal.
We've conceded 6 in the league, and half of those were in one game.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, talking to Stoney, I was listening on the Twitter. Or how can you listen on the Twitter? You know, trying to keep up with this game on the Twitter, and it said Stoney had a fantastic chance to put us ahead, and there was some peculiar bounce he was claiming. Stoney, I mean, you got anything on this, Big Malk?
It was rubbish, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He just did it. He saw the lights in front of him, and just went for it, and it was abysmal. I won't even say it was.
He did have a chance. Yeah, he did have a chance. It just didn't look like a chance because it was Craig on the ball rather than Ben or Nori.
Yeah.
I think we were singing "That's Why You're Centre Back" at him because there were no home fans to abuse him for that. Yeah, not his best effort.
No.
All right. Well, Malk, how you been? I've always had the catch up with the other lads. You've been good.
Yeah, I've been good, mate. Yeah. Thank you.
In terms of the agents, any big names coming in? I mean, I know Mbappe's unhappy again. Is that your doing?
Well, he can make me a bit of money, so you know, I'll make them all unhappy, and then just move them on. That's the way I'll make me money. So.
No, good. But yeah, other than that, Matt, you were at the game, yeah?
Yeah, I was at the game. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on it?
I thought it was a poor game. Yeah, it's like I heard George say 0-0, and that's about the level of the game. I don't think either keeper, apart from right at the end, nor his one right at the end, I don't think either keeper had a save to make. You know, it was very comfortable, and neither keeper got the penalties were great, to be fair, apart from the one that missed. You know, it was and he just put it over, but all the others, you know, the keeper didn't get anywhere near him either. So it was an easy day for both of them. It was quite a boring game, I thought.
And ice cold super Sammy Adams steps up and puts it away as expected. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. I was just when they missed and it was Sammy, I thought, you know, you please, because I wasn't holding my breath for those that were left, if you see what I mean. You know, when we then go to sudden death with the other 5 that are out there or 6 that are out there, it's I wasn't overconfident, shall we say?
Yeah, no, Sam doesn't miss, does he?
No.
John, how did you follow the game at all? Because I know you weren't there, were you, sir? Like me.
Yes, I was keeping up with it, and then I thought I'll get the official news from the FA website, and it said that Hastings had lost on penalties. So I thought I was a bit bemused by that because I'm sure we'd seen it elsewhere that they'd won, but
yeah, that was announced, wasn't it? Met Police won on penalties on the FA site. That's very good. FA getting it right again.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we've got to remember it was a away game at a team at the same level as us. Could have been very tricky, but would you say, George and Malk, that Hastings overall deserved that win? Based on
I would say no. The first half, maybe I thought we did very well. The second half, I thought they had more chances than us, and they missed quite a few chances. I think if they just got them on target, but yeah, as an overall performance. I don't think they was any better than us. I think 0-0 was about what it deserved. But yeah, on chances, they had 2 or 3 where they had shots and it could have gone there. And someone had the shot and it ricocheted off of Louis and hit Craig on the shin, and then hit the outside of the post as it went out for a corner. So it, we had some luck. We rode our luck a little bit, but then we had a couple of chances, not many, to be fair.
Yeah,
but George disagrees with that. I'll take it.
Go on, George.
Well, clearly,
I love disagreement.
By the look at your screen, Malcolm, you've been drinking heavily there.
Oh yeah, I moved it round, didn't I, to the optics.
No, I thought as the home side they should have given a little bit more. I think you're right. If we'd have stolen it with Norrie's one at the end, that would have been a theft. So, which obviously the police wouldn't have liked. But it was a strange. I mean, it was just a 0-0. If it was a 0-0 and the FA said, actually, you're both out, that could have been a thing. But with the penalties, we didn't look like missing. What happened, Chris, with the penalties? They're all 6 good penalties went in, 3-3, top quality penalties. And then they went first because Jack won the toss, I think, to put us at the end where we were, and they went first. And their guy comes up. We're giving him some gentle encouragement, some words of
support, some words of support. Yeah,
what he perhaps should be doing. And their player puts a very good penalty away. To be fair to him, 4-3, and he gives us the shush. The shush. You'd have loved it, Chris. You'd have loved it. The shush. And like their players are like laughing on the halfway line about it. It's good. It's good. Giving them the shush. We put our Jack Dixon comes up for the 4th. So we've had James Hull has come up. Calvalho. It was the 3rd. Who took the 5? Hasler. Yeah. Hull, Hasler, Calvalho have taken. Dicko comes up to take our 4th, puts it away, and he's staring the keeper with that Jack Dixon stare that he's got, the scary one he's got. Yeah. He's like just staring. But the keeper is in the net.
The tackle. Yeah.
He's like wasting time in the net with his back to Jack. So I think he knows that Jack's staring at him and he don't want to look at him. And Jack's just still there. I'm thinking, Jack, just go back to the halfway line. Like he's not looking at you. He waited there.
Jumping in, George. It was at the keeper, was it? Because from the stand, we couldn't tell who he was staring at.
No, it was at the keeper. Guaranteed at the keeper, because he said afterwards as well. Because Jack was pissed off at him because the keeper was like time wasting during the penalty shootout and trying to slow it down. He weren't happy about it.
No.
So yeah, he was staring at the keeper. And had a couple of words said to the keeper when he eventually turned round and looked at Jack. But it's a pretty menacing stare. So 4-4. Then their 5th taker comes up. He gets a few more words of encouragement, and he looks at us and grins and like does a little smile. And I think he's going to try something, and you know it. And he goes for the Panenka.
Yeah,
and it's just gone. He went for the cheeky dink, but he's just because he's gone. I reckon he's gone. I'll do the Panenka, and then the last minute gone. Well, I'll get enough on it, You make sure I've got the power. And he just goes over. Brilliant. We're just laughing. Very, very funny. Very funny.
Oh, what a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and obviously the last penalty, no doubt, we took 5 good penalties and they took 4 good penalties. That was it, really. Yeah.
But when the guy done the shush, and you all told him where to stick his finger, you then got told off by the steward for swearing.
Yeah, he said, lads, you mind your language, and I think 4 or 5 people just went, "Oh, fuck off!" Don't think so.
They had a steward. Amazing, right?
Do they need a steward? I don't
know.
Perhaps he was maybe a community support steward or something. But they were nice. They were nice people, but no one was having that.
Well, I was saying to the lads earlier, Malcolm, that Tim, who does reports for the women's games on the podcast, he said he's never seen a worse penalty than that ever while watching Hastings. I mean, is there any examples of a worse taken penalty than that, do you think?
I can't remember one, no, I can't.
So Dorkin, Lenny Pidgley's over the bar. But he's a keeper, isn't it? So this
he's
was
got an excuse. Yeah, he's got an excuse.
He's got an excuse.
I've seen people go up there and they hit it hard and it goes over, and I've seen them hit them well wide. But I've never seen anyone go up there and actually try and be clever and stick it that far over the bar, to be quite honest. You know, a Panenka is supposed to be a dinky little chip, isn't it? You know, that sort of just about reaches a goal. And he cleared the ground. You know, it's with a little dink. And
he'd have been better off putting his laces for it down the middle. Way better off.
Yeah.
It's just a really poor. I think in football you can excuse someone getting it wrong or making a bad decision in like split decision moment, the wrong pass. But yeah, that's inexcusable. The manager was quite nice about it in public after the game, but
I think what made it actually worse that there was 6 excellent penalties, like George said. You know, that you had 2 keepers, you weren't going to save them. You know, they were quality penalties, and then he came up and done that. You know, it's
keep it simple is what he should have done, shouldn't he?
Yeah. Keep it
well, talking of bad penalty shootouts, when we played Harrogate and beat them on penalties, which gave us the opportunity to go to Middlesbrough, our keeper, who was the pole dancing stripper, he had more or less had one leg,
and they kept looking at this,
and they never realised that. I mean, if they put it just put it low to the other side, they would have been scoring all day. But that was a bit of a strange that they didn't capitalise on his injury.
Through to the next round. Who have we got again, lads? Is it Burgess Hill?
Burgess Hill at home. Nice. So a team that's low in the league, below, 4 from bottom, something like that. I mean, doesn't mean we're going to win it, but it is a favourable draw on paper. And then if we do get through to the next round, that's when the National League South side's coming.
Nice.
So you know, opportunities. Yeah.
We got a couple of grand from winning that, haven't we?
About
£2 grand.
It's not as good as money as the FA Cup, I don't think, but it's some money. It does all help. Fix the floodlights with it.
But that's how I was going there, like, you know, fix the whatever's who went. I was just about to leave to go to that game, and then obviously did you hear about this amount the floodlights failed for the under 18s?
I put it on Twitter last night to follow it, and then I see the floodlights failed and the game was called off. Anyone know why? They just haven't paid a bill, or?
But that's just what I was going to go there. Maybe that £2 grand come in handy.
Yeah.
To call off Mr. Big.
50 quid.
There you go. To call off Mr. Big. It's that.
Well, they were.
Go on.
They were. Saw on the Twitter. No, it says it 7:45 kickoff. They said the problem with the floodlights is going to be delayed till 8 o'clock. I'm thinking it's only going to get darker, isn't it? So I'm not sure what delaying kickoff was going to do. But yeah, eventually they called it off. I think it's on Thursday. Again, is it Thursday?
What, this week?
Yeah, I heard of Thursday. Have they rearranged it?
No, I think Matt just said that.
Was he just chatting shit again?
Well, he's probably Dane's there saying, "Oh, it might be Thursday or something." So
Thursday morning, so that they don't have to have the lights on.
But, yeah, you better got to play in a day. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm sure Lewis were happy. Well, Lewis aren't very happy these days. I mean, it's quite funny what's happened to Lewis, isn't it?
Very funny. It's very funny. Them
Indeed.
losing. They were 4-0 down at half time. Bradley Pritchard playing for him. Agent Bradley on the case. So, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Bradley Pritchard Lewis. Ollie Black at Eastbourne. All going on, isn't it?
Well, yeah, he's going to struggle to get games, isn't he, old Ollie Black?
Well, Kane Penn's playing so well, and you got a back four that's kept that actual back four has kept 5 clean sheets in a row. So it's pretty hard to change that, isn't it?
Well, who would have thought that Finn was fighting for his place and last season?
Yeah,
it's a tough one for him. He's getting sent off at Hornchurch, and he's not really had a sniff back in the side, really, in the league. Yeah, it's tough on him. But when his centre backs are playing and not conceding any goals, I can't think of a team that's had a run like this at this level to not concede any goals for 3 league games, 4 league games in a row. That's outrageous, really.
When you step up a league, and then you end up, we're top of the goals conceded league, goals not conceded league table. It's just unbelievable, isn't it, to have had that many clean sheets at the start of the season in a higher division, but that's how you win things, isn't it? I mean, you've got to score the other end, but at the moment there's plenty of 1-0 victories, isn't there? So,
and comfortable ones.
But yeah, what's been good as well is obviously getting good loan players in like Gabodi, who kind of manufactured a goal on his own as soon as he's come on. It was a little bit iffy just before, wasn't it? With Ben Pope struggling with an injury, which he's still sort of struggling with, isn't he? But he come on, he was doing the stuff up front. That's helped. That's pushed everyone on. Sam Hasler's kicked in now. You know what I mean? It's how these little pieces come together, isn't it?
Yeah, Sam Hasler's been outstanding so far this season, and obviously we're rightly praising the defence for keeping clean sheets, but we've dominated in the middle of the park for large periods of the game, and Sam Hasler's been a huge part of that. So many positives.
Yeah, I think the good teams that you see, everyone defends, the whole team defends. So it goes right from the front, doesn't it? When you talk about defence, you see Ben Pope chasing down lost causes, putting pressure on them being able to play the ball out cleanly, and the midfield have been phenomenal. So it's not just the back line, is it, that defends in a team? It's the whole structure and the tactical play.
No, right. Go on, Matt. Sorry, mate.
I think getting Jake back was a massive plus, because I rate him as a great player anyway, and now he's got his fitness back. I mean, I'm not quite sure what was going on Saturday. I think he was just having one of them days where he shouldn't have got up. And he was the first one to admit it, and all the other players he was on one, and it's. But if you're the opposition and you look at that defence, the only attack you can go, and the only way you see there is a slight weak link there, and that's not not deflammatory to him as purely, but is Kane Penn. Purely because you think he's a youngster and he's not over 6 foot. The others are all over, 6'2", 6'3". And you think, well, all I'm going to do is attack down that right hand side at their left fullback, because he's the only way that you could see that you could possibly get through. And bless him, he's done superb this year, really well. And it stood out because most teams are attacking down there. Even Saturday, it was purely all down Kane Penn's side. And then they moved him to try on the other side, and it was worse. But, you then come up against Jake. I think they put him over that side against Jake because Jake was having one. But, it's you look at that defence, so you don't see anything weak, do you? Only sort of, if you was the opposition, you didn't know, you'd say, well, attack down that right-hand side, our right, sort of their left full-back. But he's playing so well, it's not weak at all.
It's a nice problem to have at the moment, we're not picking any injuries up at the moment as well, which is nice.
It's nice. It'd be nice if we can find a way to keep Finn O'Mara as well, because that's the sort of top quality cover you need, isn't it? When it gets into the winter months and you get injuries, to think about that. But it's just, how do you keep a player of that quality happy, on the bench?
Finn knows, and he's been around football long enough, even be it, he's quite a young lad, but he's been around football long enough to know this happens. It's a long season, and then you get back in and you work hard and you stay there. So yeah, I've spoke to him quite a few times, about him. He must be gutted, but he said, yeah, and it was, sort of one moment of madness that he didn't agree with, a handball at Hornchurch, and at the end of the day, he said, but I'll get back in, and hopefully I'll stay in.
No, definitely. Right. Well, then moving on from that, we've got Bishop Stortford at home this Saturday. 8 games unbeaten for them, top of the league as far as I'm aware. Should be an absolute top game. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a big test, isn't it? Big test for us. This is a team that should really be in the National League South. They were the team that ran Worthing the closest last season, miles ahead of the other teams that ended up in the playoffs. And as we know, the top team in the playoffs rarely actually goes up, because you're gutted that you didn't get automatic. But yeah, they were a top side. They beat Folkestone 3-0 the other night. So yeah, it'd be a real stern test. And then we've got obviously the 2 games after that are teams right at the bottom. So
we've got one on the Tuesday. Wingate
and Finchley. Yeah, Wingate and Finchley away. Yeah, they are 21st in the league.
I think they've played like 6 games. Last 6 games, they've only got 3 or 4 points. So
yeah,
I mean, that might be a game that Finn might be back in. You know what I mean? Like in terms of where it's Saturday, Tuesday, if someone's carrying a little knock, he might get a little run in the team, mightn't he? So
lots of Saturday, Tuesday coming up as long as we stay in the trophy as well, isn't it? So
yeah,
lots of games. And are we into Sussex Cup this year?
I'm fairly sure we've entered. Mal, do you know?
I don't know.
We don't enter till late, do we?
No, it's not
it's
late,
usually handy to enter then, John, but that's another story.
Pardon? Right. Very good. Will it be more bishop? Will it be more bishops than goals?
This is true, right? Who's got their computer on? What's Bishop Stortford's fans like, attendance-wise? Anyone?
I'll find out. Also, we are not entering the Velocity Trophy.
Well, that prestigious trophy will have to wait another year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we won't be able to enter it next year.
Is it the size of that thing that Craig Stone got off Billy Wood? Do you remember that trophy that he got off Billy Wood? How was it? It was about this big.
It looks like he's found something shiny on the beach and given it a Right, attendance. Okay. Here we go. Just home, but about between 300 and 400.
300 or 400. Oh, okay. That must be demoralising.
What about police's attendance? I've been to some rubbish attendance.
150, I think.
I thought it was less than that.
Something really pathetic.
Well,
pardon?
Malk, I remember when Colin was on and he said that they get tops like 120.
Well, I think they was pushing getting 50 on Saturday. Really? I've been to some poor attended grounds.
Hang on, George. Go on, Malk. Finish.
Saturday, 169.
So 169 at Met Police game.
Are they fiddling something? Because I thought, George, you thought we took 300 or so.
We took about 100. If that's the attendance, we took about 100.
Yeah, and that's why I say I thought they was pushing 50 on Saturday. So that would make that about right. I think, yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Tragic, isn't it?
I think that includes their squad. But not Dane, who has picked up a band. Dane Martin.
Well, that's just wrong. That is. Just quickly on the last thing I met, please. Mal, did you pick yourself a program up?
No, I didn't.
I'm wondering if anyone said hello to Colin, but
no, I didn't even see him. To be fair, I didn't even see him. I looked out for him, and it was quite easy to spot somebody out. individually, but I didn't see him. And after I praised it up how good the food was and the clubhouse and all this, and it was
shocking.
It was shocking. They wasn't doing any food in the clubhouse.
Hey?
I can't remember the man and lady's name that had ordered it, and they waited 50 minutes for it and then got told it wasn't coming. They'd shut the kitchen. And then in the ground, they was cooking off of a little barbecue. Which
when they were cooking that, were they on one knee?
Virtually.
Yeah.
I think it was one of these tiny little round barbecue things, and they
I had a burger from there, and it was like, when you go around someone's house for a barbecue and there's been a burger that's been sat on there for a while and it's got that charred feel about it. It was that, but it was still better than our food. So
well, yeah.
So
let's be fair now. Yes.
Yeah, but the Bovril was excellent.
Okay.
So it's important stuff, isn't it?
Right, so Dane, what's that? A nine match ban?
A 9-game ban. Bear in mind that this has come into play over 13 months after the alleged incident. It's taken that long. Yeah, as you say, Chris.
It's just wrong. It's just wrong.
Wrong. Just wrong. It's just unbelievable how, because eventually our money that we pay to get into games goes towards that absolute bullshit.
Towards his appeal, isn't it? Are we gonna?
It's towards them having meetings about it, the legalities about it, and it's taken that long. And you think, well, you're paying for all this shite. It's ridiculous that happened. It's gone on for that long, and it's also ridiculous that an opposition manager would also testify against you for that, against the club's physio. Yeah,
the manager.
Matt Longhurst at the time, wasn't it?
Was it Matt Longhurst as well? Where's he now then? Anyway, because it's at Ramsgate now.
Billericay.
Oh, okay.
Who we play pretty soon.
Well, he's always been a poor man's brother beyond. What's that? The lead singer of Brothers Beyond. Anyone remember him?
All my time, Chris. You know that.
Yeah, 80s classic Grease. Anyway, we'll get to that when we play Billericay. Well, another man stands in the dock, falsely accused, I may add, completely innocent of all charges. There you go. I mean, I did like when they were trying to. Was that then when they were trying to send him off, and he said, "Well, you can't send me off because I'm the also the physio." Yeah, that's
yeah. And the ref was like, "Well, you stay there then." Yeah.
Yeah, you stay there.
Yeah, you stay there. You do what you were going to do anyway. Yeah, but I'm going to tell you to do that because I'm the referee,
and I'm never wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, saying that someone is wrong is offensive to people from Mongolia, which is just bad stuff.
Mate, you get into right. So moving on. After that, so Gil Calvalho, or is it Jill? Is no longer. He's moved on.
It's because Joe Suggett wrote his song. Every time Joe Suggett writes a song, they leave.
Yeah, poor old Joe Suggett.
He's writing one for Billy Wood now.
I'm sure John. I mean, I wasn't amazed by Jill. So I mean, those sort of players come and go. I mean, you guys, he's shocked that he's gone. I mean, I'm not nearly 100% sure there's other players coming in. So. Are we bothered that he's gone? Are we surprised?
I don't think he was quite up to. How can I say this politely? He didn't particularly play consistently well for us. He was okay, but whether he would have settled in and done a bit more, you didn't feel. It was the quality of some of the other players that have come in.
What about Mark?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't think he was up to the quality, up to that standard. The only bit that concerns me is if we're letting players go, the squad numbers are diminishing. Whether the squad quality is diminishing is another matter, but the numbers are. And players are all taken up now. So, and a lot of them, there's no free agents left out there, or certainly not many. So we pick up a few injuries, and like you say, there's Saturday, Tuesday games coming, and their squad's not that big. So I don't know. That's the only concerning. But I'm not Gary, and I haven't got my fingers in many pies. But the smaller that goes, the more I should be ringing in with some of my players.
This is it, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why I can't get hold of Leon. Leon, where is he? I mean, there's a chance, but
he's in a hyperbaric chamber somewhere. It's undisclosed. Just waiting. George, any thoughts on that?
I thought he was sort of a improved version of Cisse in terms of his sort of aggressiveness, winning the ball up the top of the pitch and running at people. There was some excitement there. But if he's not going to be a first team regular, then usually players that have come from further afield do cost more money, especially to come on the way down to Hastings twice a week, train. I don't know. That seems to be the way. So if he's not going to be first team regular, then the money could be spent elsewhere, couldn't it? I guess. And me, I want players to be the 11 to have as many players from Hastings in it as possible. So if we go towards that, so that's if that means someone from Hastings gets a chance, then that's only good news for me. Even if they are less experienced and might struggle in a couple of games, I'd like to see someone from Hastings get a go.
Okay. All right, and chaps. Well, predictions for Saturday. John, scoreline.
I think it's going. I don't know. Really, it's a tough one to call.
Sorry to do this. Yeah,
it's probably since we've hit this really good run of form and the defence is playing amazing. It's probably our biggest test for that. I think. I think I'll go for 1-1.
Okay, George.
Well, obviously, tight defence, best defence in the league. A lot of people saying that we need to get someone in to score goals. So I'm going to go for 4-4, Chris. So that's how it works, isn't it? So 4-4.
That's how you roll, George. That's how you roll.
Get your bets on 4-4. You heard it here first.
Nice. Okay. And yourself, Mel?
Controversial here. I'm going to go 2-0 Bishop Stortford.
Okay. All right. Well, we know
he wants that to happen, so we buy his players.
Yeah,
that's exactly that.
Yeah, that's
they're a good side. They're a good side, and they've been around this league a long time. It's we're struggling to score goals. That's the problem. I can't see us getting 4 in the next 10 games. But George,
he's trying to sell us a striker. This is how they do it.
So I've got a couple of nice strikers that you might be interested in.
Yeah. All I hope is that if we do lose Saturday, which don't think we will. If we do lose, then I don't hope people don't get disheartened by it, because they are a bloody good side and they are the top side, sort of top seeded side in the division. And we've got other games. We've played teams that finished mid-table last season and we've beaten them, and we've got good results against the teams that come at the top. So there's no reason to be disheartened whatever happens Saturday. I'm sure
the season's not over in October, is it?
Exactly. I think we're winning 1-0. Just so you know, Malk. I think dogged defence is going to win it. I think it's going to be a cracking game anyway, and I'm bloody well looking forward to it. Anyway, chaps, it's an absolute pleasure. Yeah, it was great to have you on. Big Malk, Georgie Porgy, and Johnny Wells. See you at the game Saturday, yeah? See you at the game.
Yeah. Come on, you.
That's it for another week, grassroots football fans. Whoever you're going to watch this week, make sure you're loud and proud. As ever, if you want to get in contact with the show, or have any suggestions, or want to get in on our weekly roundtables, that email again is hufcpod@gmail.com, or on the Twitter, which is HUFC podcast. You can get this podcast on all major platforms, be it Google Podcasts, Audible, iTunes, Spotify or Amazon Music. And we have a jam-packed YouTube channel, chock-a-block, full of video interviews and episodes from the podcast. Please, please, please give it a look, a comment or a like, but definitely subscribe. It's all free. All that's left for me to say is, I've been your host, Chris Laverick. Hope you have a good week and see you at the game.